guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. Today I'm going to do a mini review and 3 looks using one palette using the Sigma Enchanted palette. I am obsessed with these colors. I finally bought it when they were having their 30% off Labor Day sale, and I've been obsessed with it since it came in the mail. So I thought I'd do some looks for you guys, 3 very different looks. I find that this palette is very versatile. As you can see here, we have lots of very fun shades, but you also have all these very neutral toned colors that you can create really nice everyday type of looks. So I do show you one of those fun everyday looks, and then I do have 2 other fun, really colorful looks. This one being one of them. I'm obsessed with these colors in here, so I hope you guys enjoy. I'm first going to start out with this Innocent shade. It's kind of like a neutral toned pink with, it's very neutral. There's just like that hint of warmth to really make your skin come to life. On my Morphe M504, my big fluffy blender brush, and I'm going to put that all in the crease and even above the crease as my transition shade. So as you see, we just have that pink really blown out. I do find that these mattes, they're not that drying, yucky matte. So if you have dry skin like myself, especially dry, eyes and under eyes, they really just go on so nicely. I love these mattes. Then I'm going in with Loam. The shade names are on the front of this palette. With Loam, it's that beautiful taupey shade. I don't find any warmth in this, which is very uncommon. And I'm going in with my Sigma E25, and I'm going to start packing that on the outer corner and bringing that into the crease for a little bit of a shade. Not a shade, obviously this is a shade. I'm going to bring it into the crease for a little bit of a shadow, but I'm first going to start by just packing that on the outer V area and slightly winging that out. I just find that it flatters my eye shape the most when I sort of extend those shadows out there in that little V type look, and then bring the leftover into the actual crease, not above the crease. Packing it in. I just find these 2 colors are like the start of such a good base for any of these more shimmery shades in this palette. And we're slowly adding that like winged shape. We're not going to take this totally winged, but we are giving some dimension. And we'll do the same on the other. Then we are going to deepen it up even slightly more and go in with that clay stone, which is the deeper neutral toned brown. Again, on the same brush, my Sigma E25, and this time I'm just going to take it on the tip and pat off the extra and just keep it even more precise in my outer V. I just want to add a little bit more depth. And I'm not really bringing this one into the crease too much, just kind of on that outer third type area right there. Type area. In the outer third area. It's not a type of area, it is the area. It's okay if it gets a little bit messy because I don't have my concealer on yet, so I'm just going to take a makeup wipe and sharpen that up, as I always do, because I'm always messy with my shadows. Want a little bit more shadow right above the crease, so I'm going to go back in with that Loam, which is that lighter taupey color, on my Sigma, I said that funny, Sigma E40 tapered blending. And I'm just going to slightly drag that depth from the outside, from the outer corner, into the crease with the Loam shade. and I'm going slightly above my crease because I do have slightly hooded eyes. So I kind of lost the depth that I have in my actual crease. So because if you don't have hooded eyes, you can skip this step. But if you do have hooded eyes and you want to bring that depth back so you can see it when you open your eyes, go slightly above the crease. We still have that pink really blown out, so we're still being more precise. So we'll still see that pink too, but we're adding that depth back in that we kind of lost when, you know, I opened my eyes because they are slightly hooded. So back in with the loam, and I'm keeping my eyes slightly open for this so I can really see exactly where I need that depth brought back in. And I'm just ever slightly going right above my crease. So we have that depth brought back in. As I said, if you don't have hooded eyes that make everything disappear when you open them, skip this step. But can you see the difference? So we've brought the depth back into this eye, and this eye is still very hidden. I'm gonna do the same on the other. Then we're gonna have a little fun. I'm going to go into this gorgeous pinky purple shade here, Plume, and keep that on the outer half, probably outer middle area, and then we'll lighten it up on the inner corner with this Moon Glade shade. And I'm just going to use my fingers, as I do 99% of the time when I'm using shimmery, sparkly shades. And I'm just going to pat that on. I'm not going to cover the deepest part, but I'm going to keep it, or I'm not going to cover like the deepest area of shadow, but I'm going to slightly cover it just so it's a little bit blended. That color, so pretty. And I'm just keeping this on the lid. I don't bring my shimmers, well, usually I don't bring them into the crease. So just pat that on the lid. Clean off my finger and then go in with the lighter pinky purple shade, that Moon Glade, again on my finger. This one I find doesn't have that glitter so much that the other one does. And I'm just going to pat that on the inner corner and blend it on up. It's just going to add some of that brightness back. Then going to go back into my Morphe M504 with that Innocent shade. And I'm going to ever so lightly blend everything back together, just go over it so gently so we don't wipe away that pigmentation that we have. But we just want to make sure there are no harsh edges and that everything is blended perfectly. Then going to go back in with Loam and Claystone and mix those two colors together and just slightly deepen up that V one last time to the depth we want. What I'm going to do now is simply just take my makeup wipe and literally wipe off any of that glitter that fell out and go a straight zoop. I use my finger in the, or my nail in the makeup wipe and make a straight zoop line to clean up that not so perfect line because I'm not perfect. Make it look perfect, and I will be doing my concealer and then we'll be back to finish up the lower lash line. I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back. I cleaned up with a makeup wipe, added my concealer, and now I'm ready for the bottom lash line. Do you see what a difference it makes when you just take that little makeup wipe and go zoop, straight across? It cleans up any of that. You don't have to be an expert. I'm no expert, but it makes it look like you are because it's nice and sharp now. So now I'm going to go in with another Sigma E25. This is just my little travel size one. They're the exact same brush. Back into that Innocent shade, and I'm going to put that on the lower lash line to start building up some depth down below because we've got a lot going on up top. Then going to go in with a very tiny smudger brush. This is my Morphe M213. And I'm going to go in, ooh, I kind of want to go into that evergreen shade for a little pop below. We'll go into Loam, which is that taupey shade. And this one I'm going to keep right at the lash line. I'm not going to smoke it out as much. Bring that to connect in the outer corner. My shadow. Not really my shadow. My little baby. And that one I'm only keeping on like the outer half of the V, or of the lower lash line. I'm not going all the way in like we did with the pink. I'm then going in with a flat definer brush, my Sigma E15. It's just a flat brush, and I'm gonna do a little faux liner action with Wicked. Just going to stamp that in and then stamp that on my lash line for a little bit of faux liner. It just makes your lashes appear thicker than they are, and helps to blend your lashes into your mascara when we go in with mascara. Going to put on some mascara and I'll come back and show you the finished look. I'll also need a lippy. I'll be right back. So there you have that finished pinky purpley look. I feel like this one kind of really goes with the packaging. I just love the dimension in these shimmers. They're so fun. And if you wanted to, you could have added like an actual winged liner with a actual liner. Losing my mind today, still drinking my coffee. Love my coffee mug. Life is better with a dog because it is. So there is my purpley pink look. First, I'm going to start by going in with this shade here called Quartz. It's not really light enough to set my whole eye. I do have concealer down just to set it, but it will kind of set the transition area and add just a slight depth to it. And I'm going in with my Morphe M504, just kind of sloppily buffing that on, just because, you know, as you can see, it just barely gives me a little bit of a shadow. If you are a little more deep skin tone than I am, and you're not so fair, I think that'll be a great shade for transition, or sorry, for just setting your eyes. But if you're super fair, don't recommend setting your eyes with this. I set with a translucent powder first, and then I'm just going to, you know, start building up a little bit of a shadow in that area with that one first. Next, I'm going to go in with Innocent, which is this slightly pinky, I don't know, transition shade. It's beautiful. It's probably my favorite shade in here. Again, with the same brush, going to pick up just a little bit of that and start working that in the crease as well. Then I'm going to go into the shade Terra, which is this gorgeous rusty brown color. And I'm going in with a slightly smaller blending brush. This is my Sigma Tapered Blending E40. And again, I always like to tap off the excess just so I can really control the product. And this I'm going to kind of start putting on the lid in the outer V and keeping it closer into the crease. And because we're using a smaller brush, it will not go up as high as that pinkier shade. And again, slowly work this up. I do find that these shadows blend and build really well. So if you want a big punch with a color, you can certainly get that. But if you want to slowly build it, they work great for that as well. So I'm just starting to put it kind of on the outer third and into the crease. Then I'm going in with an even smaller brush. This is my Sigma E25. It is a little dirty, but I find that if I don't want to wash my brush right away, just rubbing it quickly in a paper towel or tissue gets all that excess color off, and so it doesn't add color to your look. But next I'm going to go in with Claystone, which is a little bit of a neutral deep brown, and I'm going to keep this more precisely just in that outer V area, which is why I'm going in with a smaller brush like this. And I'm going to start patting that in, and definitely with darker shades I always tap off the excess and slowly build to the opacity that I want. You know, build up to the color you want and then slowly blend it into the crease, kind of dragging it out to get a little bit of a winged out shape. Then I'm going to go in with Sunburst, which is this beautiful champagne-y gold shimmer shade. This one, I do not find there's like a lot of glitter in this shade. But it's just a beautiful shimmer to keep this, you know, look very neutral. And I'm going to go in on a travel size of the E25, but as you can see, the brushes are the exact same as the full size version. I just have a clean little baby size. And I'll probably end up going in with my finger, but I like to lay the product down first with a brush. And I'm just going to keep it on the outer, or the inner 2/3, so we don't cover that depth we have going on the outer V. And as you can see, you can definitely use your brushes with this for a very light wash if you're using it for an everyday look. But I'm also going to go in with my finger just to amp it up slightly. But as you can see, it does give a nice little shimmer. But then I'm going to take my finger and press it in, and you can really see a big difference there. Then I'm going to go back into that Terra shade and just kind of lightly tap off a lot of the excess and lightly go back over just to make sure everything is nice and blended. Even go over that deep brown shade we had and right into the crease, and then bring it up even. Blend all of that together. Then I'm going to use the same two blending crease shades we used, Innocent, which is that light pink one, and Terra, on the lower lash line. I'm going to start off with Innocent, and I'm just using the E45 that comes in the palette. It's that double-ended brush. I'm using this side of it to pick up that Innocent shade and lightly run that under the lash line. And then I'm going to go in with the Terra on the same brush and just kind of keep it on the outer third and connect it up to that line, that faux line we created with the shadow, just to make sure it's all blended together. Then I'm going to do kind of a faux, I don't think I'm going to wing it out, but just a faux liner with that deepest shade in the palette, Wicked. It's a really deep brown. I wouldn't quite say it's black, like a black brown color, on my M165 and just stamp it into the lash line. I'm gonna go back in with that little travel size version of the E25 back into that Sunburst that we have on the lid and just do a slight wash under the brow bone just to give it a little added shimmer, but not, you know, intensifying it so much to where it looks, you know, gold under there, but just to give it a little little highlight. I'm going to then jump off camera, do my mascara, and I'll come back and show you the finished look. So there we have the finished eye look. I think this one is just a really neutral, everyday type of look. We can have a lot of fun with this palette, but you can also get really, you know, simple everyday type looks. If you hear anything, it's my little Maggie. She's my little shadow over there. I'm going to do a little bit of a green look using that beautiful evergreen color. But to start off, I'm going to go in with my Morphe M504, which is just a big fluffy blending brush, into that beautiful pinky shade, Innocent. It is such a great transition shade. I think it's just my favorite color in here. I could just throw that all over my lid and be happy. But I'm going to just kind of sloppily put that all over the crease as my transition shade, just to get everything going. I'm going to put it in the crease and slightly above the crease, slowly building it up to the intensity that I want. Now that we have that pink color really blown out all over, I'm going to go into Loam, which is this taupey brown shade. And I'm going to go in with a little bit of a more precise blending, my Sigma E40, just a little bit smaller than the Morphe one. So we'll get a little bit deeper into the crease instead of all blown out all over. I do find too that this pink really, if you have green eyes, it really makes them pop. So I'm going to go in with that, and I'm just going to tap off a lot of that excess and slowly build this color, because I don't want a ton of it on there. It's just going to be a base for where I want that green. So I'm going to keep it on the outer V and work into the crease just lightly. I don't want a ton of this color. Just want to slightly lay the base for that green. And then I'm going to take that beautiful evergreen color. It's a very deep evergreen type color. And I'm going in with my Sigma E25. It is a little bit dirty, but I've brushed off the remainder. So, you know, this is a dark enough color where it's not going to show up. So that's Sigma E25 into the evergreen. And I'm just getting it on the tip of the brush and tapping it off. And then we will go in with an even more precise brush here in a minute. But I'm just going to start patting that on the outer V. I'm not going to start blending any of that yet. I'm going to start kind of V'ing it out as well, like kind of winging out in the V. Kind of laying that shape where I want it to be. And it's okay if it gets a little bit messy, we'll go in and fix that up. And then slowly bring the excess. I'm not bringing any added product, but bring the excess into the crease to start blending it. So lay that V, wing it out, and in. Pat it, wing it out, bring it in. It's kind of what I'm doing, and I'm slowly building up to the intensity that I want. I'm going to go in with a travel size Sigma E25 into the color Innocent, and put that under the lower lash line to start as a little bit of a transition underneath there. And then we will also go in with the Enchanted or Evergreen color underneath there. Then we'll go back in with that Morphe M213, that little smudger brush, and with the green Evergreen shade. And we'll start to build that up on the lower lash line. I find that these colors really make my green eyes pop, and they look really flattering on fair skin. If you are, you know, pretty fair with neutral, cool undertone, I find that it's really complimentary. Probably end up going in with a makeup wipe just to sharpen up that edge, before we finish. And I'm gonna go back in with my Sigma E25 that we were doing all the green with. I'm not adding any extra product. I'm just slowly making sure we got a good blend there, just so it's not harsh. We've kind of got that cat eye effect going, which is what we're going for. And as I said before, we can sharpen up that cat eye effect with a makeup wipe when we're done. Next, we're gonna start in with the fun shimmery shades. I'm going to go in with Cosmos and Metamorphosis. Cosmos is this darker green color here, and Metamorphosis is this shifty color. They're both kind of that shifty depending on what color the light hits them. I'm obsessed, especially that Metamorphosis shade. Obsessed. But we'll start with Cosmos kind of on the outer half, and then Metamorphosis will be on the inner half. Inner half, like inner third. And I'm just going to use my fingers. I find they work best with these shimmers as well as any other shimmers I own. And they're a little bit more glittery shades. I love them. So Cosmos, we are going in, kind of laying it on this outer where we have the darker color. We're just going to start patting it and slowly building it up, kind of all the way to the halfway mark. And I'm just keeping this on the lid. I'm not going into the crease. Then I'm going to just wipe off my finger on a tissue so we have none of that dark color left over. And then we are going to go into Metamorphosis again with my finger and just pat it in. Going to start, you know, towards the center of the eye and then slowly blend that in. I want the lightest part of it to be over here. And then slowly just blend that in. These two colors, I could just bathe in them. They're so pretty. Then I'm going to go in with my Morphe M165, which is just a flat slanted liner type brush, in with that dark Wicked shade here, and do a faux liner. This look I find looks really pretty with an actual winged outliner, but I'm just going to wash it off for another look. So if you want to, now is the chance to clean up that outer edge, then go in with your liner. But I'm going to go in with that Wicked color and do a faux liner, and then I'm going to clean everything up. So I'm just going to stamp it in there and then stamp on my whatever that part is where my lashes meet my eye. Just stamp it. Stamp it on like a faux liner. I'm going to clean up the fallout, fix that, sharpen up that line. I'm just really going to take a makeup wipe and go zoop and call it a day, and I'll be right back. So there you have this beautiful green look finished. I really find if you have fair and neutral cool undertones, these colors just really make your skin pop and look good, makes your eyes pop if you have green eyes. I am obsessed with those two lid shades, that Enchanted, or the Metamorphosis and Cosmos. I mean, could we ask for more in an eyeshadow? I'm obsessed. Love this look. Now I don't want to wash it off. But yeah, there is the green look. So on to the little mini review. You do have 14 colors in here. You can see you do have, let's see how many mattes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mattes that range in very neutral colors. This color here is beautiful throughout the crease, along with this very neutral tone taupey color. I do find that this more skin tone colored shade is slightly too dark for me to set my lids with it, but it is, you know, nice to just start that little shadow in the crease. If you are just even slightly more dark than I am, I think you'd find it perfectly fine to set your eyelid or even as a brow bone highlight. Again, it doesn't work for my shade, but I can use all of these shades all over the lids, in the creases, and that I don't find there's the best, you know, brow bone highlight or, as I said, skin tone setting shade, but a lot of times I just go in with my highlighter that I'm using on my face anyway underneath the brow bone, and I always, almost always set my lids before I go in with eyeshadows with just my translucent powder that I'm using under their eye anyway, so not that big of a deal for me, might be a deal breaker for you. Then I do find that there are, you know, like this one, and this one are kind of that shimmery shade, and then there are, you know, these two especially have that like pop of glitter in them. So beautiful. I do find all of these shades blend beautifully on the eye. The darker ones are definitely more pigmented, so I do recommend, you know, tapping off your brush before going in and slowly building those up, but they do keep their pigmentation on the eye and they do blend out very nice. Now, these more glittery type shades do have a little bit of fallout when you're using them. But I do find that once you clean up your eye after you're done and as you go about your day, they don't have more fallout as you go on throughout your day. So if you're okay with doing an eye look, having a little bit of fallout, cleaning it up when you're done, and going about your day, I think you'll like this. If fallout in general just bugs you even as you're doing your eyeshadow, if you're not somebody who wants to clean that up, maybe stay away from those two glitter shades, but I mean, those are the two I have on my eye today. You guys, I'm obsessed. They are so beautiful, so reflective. This Metamorphosis shade especially just kind of transforms depending on what you have underneath it, what, you know, light you're in. I do find that the glitters are very reflective and metamorphosis as the name would imply. I'm obsessed. It's beautiful with the more pinky tones as well, and also goes great with those more green tones as well. Overall, in my opinion, it is worth it to me. I believe it's $49. I'll put the price here on the screen. I'm obsessed with it. Very, very blendable, very pigmented, gorgeous range of shades that are neutral yet pops of colors. So if you're kind of boring, you know, with your eyeshadows like I usually am, but you do like to experiment a little bit with color, I find that these are perfect for that. They are just neutral enough to be very wearable while still having lots of fun with it. So like as we see here, I did a look like this very similar just to go out the other night, and I wasn't uncomfortable. A lot of times when I wear really bright colors, I do get a little like, you know, I love the way they look, but they're not always my scene to like go out in public with. I do find that I'm not, you know, hesitant to wear these in public. I love every single shade in here. The only shade that really isn't my cup of tea, if you will, is the super gold color. I've never been the biggest fan of like super gold colors. However, I do think this will be gorgeous around the holidays, like with this evergreen shade for a fun holiday look. But that's really the only one I don't reach for in here. So if I can reach for every single shade aside from like one and maybe two, just because I don't always use that, to start my shade in my crease. Very, very beautiful. I don't know why this isn't more talked about. I do know that on the Sigma website, currently it's sold out, but they do have a list of other retailers that you can find it at. I know Revolve still has it in stock online, so if you order, you might want to order it on Revolve. I know it's there, as well as some of the other places that they have listed. Now, they don't say on the website or anywhere else that this is limited edition, so I have no idea if this is limited edition or if they will be restocking. Fingers crossed this is something they are going to be restocking. It is a gorgeous palette, in my opinion. Why more people aren't talking about it blows my mind. I am obsessed, truly. I'm not someone who goes out and buys every single eyeshadow palette, but this one truly spoke to me, and boy, am I glad I bought it while they still have it in stock. So don't sleep on this one. I don't know if it's limited edition or not, but I do know it's selling out of a lot of places really, really fast. So if you go on the Sigma website, it will tell you where you can still find this palette. But I hope you enjoyed my 3 looks and my little mini review. As I said, very worth it in my opinion, but I'm somebody who loves to spend my money on makeup. So if you already have a million palettes, do you need it? Absolutely not, but is it a lot of fun, and do I think you'll enjoy it? Absolutely. So I hope you enjoyed this little review. And I mean, oh, how can you just not love that packaging? All of the colors are on the back, along with the names. I'm obsessed. I hope you enjoyed this today, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.